So if you weren't here last week, we're kind of going into a deep dive here about the 8 limbs of yoga. So what makes yoga yoga? And the first branch of it is the yamas, and there's 5 yamas. And the yamas translates to social ethics. So what 5 social ethics we should abide by as we move throughout the world in order to kind of embody the state of non-suffering or internal peace, right? This is the ultimate goal of yoga, is to kind of find this union to self, find this state of non-suffering, internal peace, also known as samadhi. Okay, so we're talking about, last week we talked about the first yama, which was ahimsa. So this means non-harm. We're not doing things to harm other people, we're not doing things to harm ourselves, we're not harming animals, we're not harming nature, right? We're kind of just, as well as in our thoughts, we're not thinking harmful thoughts, this kind of thing. So this is the first yama, ahimsa. The second yama, what we're talking about today, is Satya, truthfulness. Okay? So, when we think about truthfulness, like, we think about being honest with others, obviously, like not telling lies. Again, very context dependent as well in Hinduism, like, if it means that telling the truth is hurtful to somebody, then it's kind of a little bit context dependent here. But generally speaking, we're being honest with other people. It also means we're being honest with ourselves, right? And not allowing ourselves to be disillusioned by the ego, okay? So not allowing ourselves to believe in things that are not true, whether it's about other people or it's about ourselves, right? So we're also looking at our own conditioning, what we've been conditioned to believe about ourselves over our entire lives, right? So this is kind of the idea that we're working with today, this kind of idea of truthfulness. And in Sanskrit, the word sat translates to true essence. So really the question that we're working with today is, how are you embodying your true essence? Okay. And how do we do this? Well, the first is embodying ahimsa, right? This is the first thing. We want you, and you might notice that there's a bit of interplay between the yamas. Especially when we're on our yoga mat, we want to be kind to ourselves. This is ahimsa, right? Non-harm. We don't want to harm ourselves. And oftentimes, especially when we're on the mat, this means being honest with where we're at, right? So not pushing our bodies to do something that we can't do, not cranking into a posture because you want to do what the rest of the class is doing or do what the teacher's doing, right? You're really meeting yourself where you're at and being honest with yourself. And that also allows for kindness and non-harm to our own beings. We also embody it by creating stillness in the body. So Patanjali, who is, he wrote the Yoga Sutras, and this is kind of like, I just described it as like one of a few yoga Bibles. And Patanjali says, we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. So if we are not creating stillness when we're experiencing things throughout our day, that means we live from a place of reaction, right? So something happens to us, we feel something, we jump out right away, we're reacting to the situation. We're not pausing to create that stillness inside of us. When we don't create the stillness, when we live from a place of reaction, we are not, we don't have the space to understand our own internal selves, understand why we're feeling a certain way, or why we're wanting to react a certain way, right? So then to counter this, we want to pause, we want to create that stillness, we want to find our breath, find presence. So this is kind of the energy that we're going to be working with today in class. And we can just kind of have this intention of moving through the class, creating stillness in order to embody our true essence. So we'll go ahead and get started, finding a nice comfortable seat. So you can sit cross-legged, you can sit on blocks, just sitting where you can have your spine lengthened or reaching up toward the ceiling, crown reaching up toward the ceiling. And I'm going to chant Om, so feel free to join in, or you can just listen to the vibration. We'll start with one full cycle of breath, and then on our next exhale, we'll chant. So let's inhale deeply here. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, exhale. 3 cycles of breath. Just arriving here in the practice, arriving in the moment. It can be scary sometimes to be honest with ourselves. And we counter it by just this deep breathing that we're doing right now. Okay, let's flutter the eyes open. We'll start with just a few neck rolls here. So dropping the chin toward the chest. Right ear over the right shoulder. Chin towards the ceiling. Left ear, left shoulder. Chin to chest. Ear to shoulder. Chin to ceiling. Ear to shoulder. Chin to chest. So just trying to find this nice fluid movement here. Move slowly. Just feeling into your neck. We'll do 2 more circles, and then you can change directions. Just already here, noticing what happens in the body, and finding that ahimsa, right? So if something doesn't work for you, modify it and do what works for your body. And you can change directions if you haven't already done so. One more. And we'll bring the head back to center. Chin parallel to the floor. Inhale, pull the shoulders up toward the ears. Roll them back, down the body, and around. Up, back, down, and around. Up, back, down, and around. Maybe 2 more here, and then you can change directions. Moving slowly, moving gently. One more. You can relax the shoulders down from the ears. We'll take our left hand, place it on the mat. You can actually just walk the fingertips a little bit behind you, so a little bit back. And then from here, we're going to drop the right ear over the right shoulder. Doesn't have to be a very deep stretch here. Just feeling a little bit of extension through the left side of the neck. If you do want a deeper stretch, you can begin lifting the left arm with the fingers flexed towards the forearm. And just lifting it up towards the ceiling. Just noticing how this feels in the neck. Inhale, come back to center. Right palm comes down beside you, maybe walk it back a little bit. Left ear over left shoulder. You can also explore here with dropping the chin down toward the chest, just noticing what this feels like in the right side of the neck. And if you want a little bit deeper of a stretch, you can flex the fingertips toward the forearm, and just think about lifting the arm up towards the shoulder, up towards the ceiling, and then bringing it back down, just noticing can leave the thumbs out here, kind of to create like a little hammock for the back of the head. And we'll just give ourselves a bit of a neck massage here. So just using the thumbs to massage the neck, maybe the base of the skull. You can hold lots of tension in the neck. Maybe you go kind of towards the bottoms of the ears, behind the ears. And then from here, we're going to keep our hands as they are. We'll move through a few rounds of seated cat-cow with the hands behind the head. Now, if the hands behind the head is challenging or painful, you can also keep your hands down on your knees. So, and if your hands are on your knees, really we're going to be lifting the chest, arching through the spine. Now, if you have your hands behind your head, think about maybe pressing the back of the head into the hands as your elbows open and you inhale. Lift the chest, arch through the spine. This is our cow. And on the exhale, pulling the navel in, so move from the navel as you curl through the spine. The elbows come together in front of you and you can drop your chin down toward the chest. Inhale, find your cow, open up through the elbows, lift the chest. And exhale, curl through the spine. This is our cat. 3 more like this. Inhaling to arch through the spine, lift the chin toward the ceiling. Exhale, curl through the spine. Elbows come together. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 1 more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then from here, keeping the hands as they are, come back to center. If your hands are down, you can also just lift one arm up. And we're just going to inhale deeply. On the exhale, bend towards the right side, so the right elbow comes down, or you're just bringing the arm up and over. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, other side. Beautiful. Inhale, come through center. And release the hands. And now we're going to come into Lord of the Fishes. So there are a few options here. I'll show you the first one. Right leg is extended. Left sole of the foot is either along the inside of the right thigh, or you can cross the right foot over the left knee. Okay, so this is kind of the first option for legs. If you want, you can bend the right knee. So you can kind of bend at the right knee. And this is the full Lord of the Fishes legs. Okay? And then from here, inhale, take the left arm up. Bring it behind the back and press that arm against the spine. So it's acting as a second spine to keep yourself lifted. So we're not collapsing once we twist, okay? And then from here, inhale, reach the right fingertips up toward the ceiling. And on the exhale, twist toward the left, hooking the right elbow around the left knee. And then just looking over that left shoulder if it feels good. Again, just being mindful, being gentle on yourself, listening to your body. 2 more cycles of breath. And on your next exhale, you can release the twist. Lean back, switch the legs, maybe you shake out the legs briefly in front of you for a moment. And then we'll come into this twist on the other side. So now our left leg is underneath. Right knee goes over the left, or right foot goes over the left. And the right hand is behind us to support the spine. You can also have that left leg extended. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up. And on the exhale, twist and hook the left elbow around the knee. Just find your breath here. Maybe noticing how this side feels different than the other side. One more cycle. And on the exhale, you can release the twist. Extend the legs out in front of you, and we'll come down onto our backs to move through a few bridges. So soles of the feet are planted, and you can walk the heels toward the glutes. Snuggle the shoulder blades underneath the body. Palms can be on the mat beside you. We'll inhale, start by tucking the tailbone as you lift the hip points up toward the ceiling, pushing into all four corners of the feet. And then think about hugging the legs in toward the midline, almost like you're holding a block in between your legs. And on the exhale, release. Slowly and with control. Two more like this. Inhale, lift the hip points up. Exhale, release down. One more. Inhale, lift the hip points up toward the ceiling. Maybe you squeeze through the glutes, squeeze the knees together. And on the exhale, slowly release down. Now from here, we'll either come into shoulder stand or waterfall. So if shoulder stand is part of your practice, you can go ahead and get into it now. I will walk you through the shoulder stand, just getting into it if you want to try it. Otherwise, afterwards, I'll go through waterfall as well. So for shoulder stand, what we want to do is have our hands, our palms on the mat. And basically, you might need to use a bit of momentum, but basically we're lifting the feet up toward the ceiling, pushing into the hands and the arms. And then once our legs are up, we're taking our hands to support our low back. And then as you lift the legs, you can think about pressing the heels into like an imaginary wall behind you to find straightening here. And then you're activating the core, squeezing through the glutes, again, pushing the heels into an imaginary wall to straighten. Now, if this isn't a part of your practice, you can also come into waterfall. So this just involves placing a block underneath the sacral bone. Just find your breath. This is a wonderful posture to stimulate the third eye chakra, the throat chakra, which helps us to speak our truth. One more cycle of breath. And then to come out of the posture, you're slowly releasing the knees down toward the face. The hands will come down to the mat. You'll push into the hands as you release the legs down and extend the legs long down the mat here. We'll find ourselves in Shavasana just for a moment. Remembering to be true to yourself, be true to your practice. And knowing that wherever you are at in your practice is exactly where you're meant to be. One more cycle of breath. And then from here, we're going to stay on our backs. We'll come into a fish posture. So I will walk you through with a block first. I think it's best to use a block for this posture. So if you want to use a block, you take the block, you place it lengthwise on your mat. The bottom of the block, you don't want it any lower than your bottom rib. So you can't find the bottom rib here. You don't want it any lower than that, okay? And then you just relax back onto the block. The legs are extended out in front of you, and the crown of the head can reach down toward the ground, or you can also place a block underneath the head if that feels good. So this is a supported fish posture. The palms are facing up. If you do want to try the unsupported fish posture, you're bringing the palms onto the mat. So palms are facing down on the mat. Lift up the glutes. Slide the hands underneath the glutes. And this again is just for the unsupported. So if you're not using a block, then this is the steps to get there. And then once you're there, pull the elbows in underneath the body so that the elbows are coming in toward each other under the body. And then from here, inhale, activate the core to look down at your toes. So pushing into the elbows to lift up and look at the toes. And then once you're here, releasing the crown of the head, keeping the elbows as they are, but releasing the crown of the head toward the mat. So most of the weight here is in your elbows. Lift the chest up toward the ceiling. Push into the elbows and the hands. 3 cycles of breath. Beautiful throat opener here. One more cycle of breath. And on the exhale, to get out of the posture, activate the core, look back toward the toes, release the elbows. And then you can release the hands from underneath you. If you've got a block, you can remove the block from underneath you. Shavasana, resting pose. Ready, you can come into a side lying position, so just turning onto whichever side is best, and then coming up to a seat. Now we'll come into next a seated wide-legged forward fold. So option to sit on a block if that feels good. Otherwise, you're just going to extend your legs diagonally to any length, whatever works for you. And we'll take our fists, we're just gonna lift our hip points up, pull the hips back in space so that we're sitting on the very tops of the sits bones. And then here, keeping the spine nice and long, reach the fingertips up. And on the exhale, hands can come down in front of you. And maybe you think about crawling your body forward a little bit to any degree. Relaxing the chin toward the chest. We're leaning forward in this posture. We're kind of coming into ourselves. It's a reflection, a posture of reflection here. 2 more cycles of breath. Feel like you're folding from the hips, not from the back. And on your next inhale, you can begin to sit back up. And we'll come into Malasana, okay? So pulling the feet in, and again, you can have a block. You don't have to get into this pose the way that I explain it as well. You can always just get into it however you want. You can place a block underneath the sit bones. Otherwise, you're pulling the feet in, the toes are out, and then we're coming forward onto the feet, okay? So again, where's my block? There it is. You can place a block underneath the sit bones. You can also, if you find that your heels have a hard time reaching the ground, you can place blocks underneath the heels. heels, to lift the heels up. So we're here in our Malasana. Hands come to the heart center. Elbows are pressing against the knees. Knees are pressing against the elbows. And you can also, like, if one block is not enough, you can sit on two. Like, it's completely your practice. You just do whatever works best, okay? So just finding a little bit of opening through the groin here. Think about rolling the shoulders back and down so that you've got a nice long spine. 2 cycles of breath. And on your next exhale, you can release the palms to the floor, lift the hip points up. We're coming into a forward fold. And if you can't do inversions, feel free to just come right up to a stand. So we're in a kind of a wide stance forward fold here. Inhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, begin to roll up to our standing posture, Tadasana, mountain pose. So you can readjust your stance, feet come hip width apart. A good way as well to kind of like determine this is like I do like a 1.5 fist of space between the feet. Okay. And then we'll inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bump the hips to the left, bend to the right. Inhale through center. Bump the hips to the right, and bend to the left. Beautiful. Come up through center here. Release the hands down. We'll take our right foot, step it back. We're going to come into a runner's lunge. So we're on the balls of the back foot. We're bending into the front knee. The left ankle is underneath the left knee. Okay? And again, coming up onto the balls of the back foot, so the heels up toward the ceiling. And then we'll lean forward, the fingertips reach back. Okay, chin can be gently tucked, looking down at the mat, runner's lunge. 2 more cycles of breath. On your next exhale, you can reach the fingertips toward the floor, drop the back knee. This is our supported low lunge. You can untuck the back toes. There's knee pads in case it's sore on the knee here. Low lunge. So lifting the chin, lifting the chest towards the front of the mat. And on your next exhale, walk yourself back to a half split. So coming up onto the back of the left heel, toes are flexed towards the face. You can also use blocks to bring the earth up to you. And then just think about bringing the chest or the heart space down toward the knee. On your next inhale, walk yourself forward. Plant the palms, tuck the back toes, lift that knee up. Okay, we're gonna come into our warrior one pose. So we'll inhale, push into the feet, sweep the arms up overhead, and then from here we'll pivot that heel down so that the back toes are pointing to about 2 o'clock. Okay? Our hips are diagonal. Our chest is facing forward, so facing that front knee, and then the arms are reaching up overhead, warrior one. Press into the back edge of the back foot, the outer edge of the back foot. And then from here, we're going to chant the Bija seed mantra for the throat. Again, feel free to join or just listen to the vibrations. Inhale. And exhale to chant. pivot towards the right side of the room. We're going to come into our goddess posture. So heels come in, toes go out. Remember that our knees want to track our first toe and our second toe. Okay? And then from here, we'll inhale, sink down into our goddess squat. Arms come up into cactus arms here. Breathe. 2 cycles of breath. Beautiful, strong posture. Inhale, so straighten through the knees. Reach the fingertips up, 5-pointed star. Exhale, sink into goddess, cactus arms. Now as well, if you're having trouble with the arms up overhead, feel free to lower them. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. One more inhale, 5-pointed star, just straighten through the knees. And exhale, goddess. Okay, inhale, come up, straighten through the legs. You can release the hands. Now you're going to pivot to face the back end of the room. Okay, so we're going to come into our runner's lunge, facing the back end of the room. So now our left foot, we're on the balls of the left foot. Okay, so we're on the toes of the left foot, bent into the front knee. And then from here, we'll lean the torso forward, reaching the fingertips back towards knee, airplane arms. Just find your breath. Also, I give suggestions, but of course, you do whatever works best for you. Runner's lunge, beautiful. Inhale. Bring the palms down toward the mat. Drop the left knee. We're coming into a supported low lunge. Okay, you can untuck those back toes, lift the chin, lift the chest. We're stretching through the left psoas, the left hip flexors. On your next inhale, walk yourself back to a half split. So now the right leg is extended, right toes are flexed towards the face. Option to bring blocks with you for the ride. Inhale to come back through center, coming back into your low lunge. Tuck the back toes, lift that back knee. And we'll find our warrior one, so inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. You can also bring your hands to your waist. And then we'll pivot that back heel down. The toes are pointing to about 10 o'clock, bent into the front knee. From here, we'll chant 3 times Hum, the throat chakra, Bija mantra. So we'll inhale, exhale to chant toes are pointing out, heels in. We'll inhale, sink down into our goddess pose. Arms can come up to cactus arms, or they can stay on the waist. 2 more cycles of deep, conscious breathing here. And then notice again what's happening with the knees. Are they caving Or are they tracking over the big and the second toe? Inhale, come up to 5-pointed star, straightening through the legs. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. One more here. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Beautiful. From here, you can straighten through the legs. You can recenter yourself, facing the front of the mat. Coming up to Tadasana, mountain pose. So feet are hip apart. Hands are by your side. Maybe you soften the gaze or close the eyes. Bring your attention down to the soles of your feet. Maybe you lift all 10 toes. You might feel the arches of the feet lifting and activating here. Again, just tuning into the breath. Noticing if your mind has wandered, and if it has, remind yourself that that is totally okay. In fact, that's 100% normal. That's what the mind does. And then just bringing your attention back to the breath. Beautiful. You can flutter the eyes open. Now we'll step the right leg back again. So come up towards the top of the mat. Step that right leg back. We're going to come into our warrior two. So the back foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. The fingertips reach forward and back with bending into that front knee. Warrior two. And then from here, feel as if somebody is pulling on your fingertips to pull yourself forward, straighten through the front knee. We're coming into our triangle pose. So from here, lowering that hand down to the shin, right fingertips reach up toward the ceiling, triangle. 2 more deep cycles of breath. On your next inhale, come back through warrior two. And we'll just pivot. You're going to face the back end of the room. We're going to do this on the other side. Warrior two. So back, the left foot now is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Reach the fingertips in front of you and behind you. Breathe. And on your next inhale, feel as if somebody's pulling the fingertips forward, straighten through the front leg. And then the right fingertips go down toward the shin or toward the block. Left fingertips up toward the ceiling. You can also have your left hand on your waist or on your low back. You really want to find this length in the side of the body that's toward the ceiling here. So finding length. And then you're activating the side of the body that's closest to the ground. So kind of activation through this core here. Beautiful. Inhale, come back through warrior two. And you can release the posture. Find your Tadasana, your mountain pose at the top of the mat. Close the eyes. Notice the body. Notice the mind. Where are your thoughts going? Beautiful. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, so hands come to the shins or the thighs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant both palms down, step one foot back, then the other. We're coming into a high plank. So pushing the earth away from you so that you're not collapsing through the shoulder blades. So almost like the shoulder blades are moving away from each other down the back. And then from here, we're gonna lower down onto the belly with control to the count of 5. Elbows are coming in toward the rib cage. So Courtney, if you want to, you can put your knees down for a sec. Spin your hands so that, yes, exactly. So that your index and thumb are pointing toward the top of the mat. And then we'll lower here, so elbows are coming in toward the ribs. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down, forehead to the mat. We'll inhale for cobra, so lift the chin, lift the chest, elbows tuck in. Exhale, release. 2 more. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Strengthening the back muscles here. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, release. Now we'll prepare for our bow pose. So taking the left hand, you can place it parallel to the top of the mat. And you can even like relax your head down onto the arm. We'll bend the right knee. And we'll swing the right arm around to catch the right foot. And then just pulling that heel in toward the glute. You might feel this in the front of the quads, the front of the thigh, the hip flexor. Release the leg, switch arms. So bending at the left knee now, swinging around to catch the left foot, and then pulling that heel in toward the glute. Beautiful. Now keep the left leg as it is. So holding onto that left leg, now bend through the right leg and catch the right foot. So now you're holding onto both feet. Squeeze both legs in toward the midline. And on your inhale, kick the feet into the hands, lift the chin, lift the chest, squeeze the glutes, bow pose. We'll be here for 3 cycles of breath. Make them deep and mindful. 2 more. Notice how the inhale lifts you. 1 more. And exhale, gently release down. You can place the hands underneath the shoulders or beside the ribs. And we'll push up and back to our child's pose. Take 3 more cycles of breath. Whenever you feel ready, you can begin to rise up and find a seat. And you can come onto blocks. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit on the knees. Whatever is your most comfortable posture where you can keep your spine nice and long, crown reaching toward the ceiling. Take 3 full cycles of breath in our seat here. Breathing deeply into the belly, into the chest, all the way up to the collarbones. Sitting up nice and tall. Now we're going to move through a little bit of pranayama here as we close our practice. And I have really been enjoying this ease breath. So I know some of you know it. I'll kind of walk you through just what we're supposed to be doing. So we'll take our thumbs. We're going to bring them to the cartilage or to the inside of the ear, whatever feels good. You can also place your fingertips like up along the head, or you can choose to close to cover the eyes, whatever feels good. And the idea here is that we inhale, keep the ears open. On the exhale, we plug the ears and we hum on the exhale. So it looks something like this. Inhale in, ears open, and exhale, close and hum. Inhale to open the ears. Exhale, close and hum. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale in, and then here on the exhale, bring the elbows in, tuck the chin toward the chest, exhale and hum. Inhale, stay like this. Exhale, hum. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. You can release the hands down. And keep the eyes closed here. Just notice how the body feels. And then from here, I invite you to make your way down onto your back for our final resting pose, Shavasana, corpse pose. Feet are as wide as the mat, palms face up in a gesture of receiving. You might snuggle the shoulder blades beneath the body. Maybe even tuck the chin slightly. As we're here in Shavasana, I'm going to play a gentle sound bowl. You can simply listen to the vibrations. You can follow the music with your breath. Breathing deeply. Letting the sounds wash over you. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you need. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Thank you for giving yourself this time to heal and to explore what it means to be true to yourself. Namaste.